We're live. Okay, so this is the regular meeting of Rundfunk mitbestimmen. We are 4 people now: Mariam, Faith, Federico, and I. And we haven't decided what to talk about, so maybe we should give a quick introduction into this project. For Mariam, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Sure.
Or what about the others? What do you want to talk about? Is there anything that you have in mind? Like any questions, for example? I don't know how much, for example, Faith, if you have some questions.
I have nothing in mind, and I'm okay with the idea of going through the introduction of the project.
Yeah.
Me too.
All right. Yeah. So this project, it's called Rundfunk mitbestimmen, which roughly translates to participate in broadcasting, or maybe co-determination in broadcasting. We have a mandatory fee here in Germany. I'll just share my screen. We have a mandatory fee in Germany, and oh, wow, Inception. Can you see this tab here? No, you can't, right? Can someone tell me what's currently shared?
It's just your Google Hangouts, like where the chat is.
Right, so that's not what I wanted. I wanted the other windows. And sometimes a little bit confusing to me, as I am using a window manager. So now you should see something.
Yes.
All right, so this is the application as it is today. So the whole idea is, if you are paying for public broadcasting in Germany, there is something like that in all over Europe. So there are fees in England, in Italy, in France. May I ask where you live, Mariam?
Morocco.
Morocco.
Yeah.
Probably they don't have something like that in Morocco, or do they?
No.
All right. So in Europe, it's different, and every home has to pay for it. And unfortunately, there's no feedback. Like, there's no way of knowing what people would actually like to pay for. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And this whole project is all about this. I thought it would be a nice idea of having any kind of application that gives people a voice. And the idea is you have some app, and you can log in if you want, which I will do now. And okay, now this is going to be, no, it's okay. So I just translated the page to English. And then there are some broadcasts. And if I want, I can say, okay, I would like to support, I don't know, for example, this one here, which is a radio broadcast. Or I can say next, and I want to support that one. And as soon as I support it, for example, 2 broadcasts, I can say, okay, I want to distribute. Every home has to pay €17.50 each month. And I did that. So what I just did, I did it a couple of times already. So this is the list of all my supported broadcasts. These 2 were selected just now. And my budget of €17.50 is distributed among those. Right? It's a long, long list, because I did it a couple of times. All right? And this data is then collected from everybody. So for each broadcast, you then have a table which tells you, okay, how often was this broadcast visible to people? How many people clicked the support button? What do people give on average? And what's the total amount of everything, of all people of all supporters? What's the total amount of what people would like to give for a broadcast? That's it. That's the whole thing. All right.
Good.
Tell me something. Am I kind of confusing you? Is it too much for now? Like,
is it something like you don't like you pay yourself back? Like I don't get the concept quite well.
could you say it again? Is it something like?
Like you support a channel and like you get it for yourself or like I don't know.
Yeah, you definitely, you're supporting something. You just say, I would like to support this or that, right? So the state, the local authorities, they force you to pay, and there's no way of giving some feedback or what you actually would like to support, right? There's no direct feedback, and this application gives you a voice. It gives you an opportunity to say, I want to support, I don't know, this broadcast here,
Okay. Yeah.
which was just the one that I think I supported that one before. All right.
Yeah.
This, for example, is comedy.
Okay.
Okay, and because we have such an amount of data, there are also a lot of data visualizations around that. And I think Faith and Matt is not currently with us. You two, you were working on the demographic visualization. Is that true?
Hello.
Yeah.
No, there's a typo. There's a typo. Did you see it?
Match is around.
Hi, here. There's no T.
Hi all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's missing a T.
Yes, exactly. I think we. You, Matthew. Yeah, you know.
Sorry, Matthew. I was trying to mute you. I think it is that you have some background noise. It's pretty loud. So just unmute yourself if you want to say something.
Yeah. Is it possible for Matthew to unmute himself?
Yes, you can.
All right.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. I'm in the library, so it shouldn't be loud, but
Yeah. Maybe enough if you could just turn down the volume of your microphone.
Yep.
Yeah, that's much better. No, you muted yourself. Now it's 0%. Anyhow, and we have Dominica as well. Hi, Domenico.
Hi.
Hey, Dominica.
Is that any better?
All right. Okay. So maybe we can just fix that. Because I was just telling Mariam like the scope of this project, and there's a bug. We cannot see the icon, but there's a link to GitHub, and the code's just there, so everyone can contribute to it, as you probably know from pretty much every project on Agile Ventures. Is there any project on Agile Ventures that is not open source, Federico?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. No, they're all open source. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's some that are paid projects.
Yeah.
You have to be a premium member to work on them, but they're all open source. Yeah.
Right. Nice. By the way, I was advertising Agile Ventures to someone this afternoon in another meeting.
Nice. Yeah, Matt was doing that this weekend too. So yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
So I think there's a typo here. So what I just did while I was talking to Federico is I visited the GitHub and clicked through the folders until I reached the file with the translations. So my suggestion is that you, Mariam, you make your first contribution today. How about that? So it's actually very, very easy. Have you seen those translation files before on website 1 maybe?
No, no.
It's only English.
Yeah.
Ah, I see. So it is possible also for Rails to use this kind of translation files. And okay, I will show you one more thing. So you can either just have just one language and write all the text into the templates. So yeah, I should give a quick introduction about the directory layout. So here are all the files. The most important folders are backend and frontend. The backend code is all in the folder backend, and guess what? The frontend code is all in the folder frontend. There are some tests that are in the folder features that are testing backend and frontend at the same time, and therefore those tests are located here. And the rest is just documentation, I would say, or tooling. Okay, so we'll find the template because this application here is running in the browser. By the way, this is also something maybe important for you. If you want to develop Ember, it will be helpful for you if you install a particular plugin for your browser, which is called the Ember Inspector. Right? The Ember Inspector will help you to debug any application on the web which is written in Ember. By the way, I found out today that, for example, Twitch is developed with Ember. Do you know Twitch?
No, no.
Twitch is whoa. No, I don't want to stop. So, but this one is also implemented in Ember. Come on. So I know it's implemented in Ember. Actually, it should show you the Ember stuff about this page. Maybe it's here. For some strange reasons, the Ember Inspector doesn't show the whatever here. But Twitch is, for example, it developed in Ember. Another application which is developed in Ember is Travis CI. Hopefully this is going to work. Yes. So you can see that Travis CI is also an Ember application. Basically, you can use this plugin for any web application that is developed with Ember. Just a tip, an advice, a suggestion. All right?
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Also, LinkedIn, if you're interested in that one, is also an Ember application. Yeah, there you go. So this page here is also an Ember application. All right. So what we want to do is, so I want to show you the template, which is located in the front end. So the code, if you visit the site, will be downloaded to your browser. And then it will render the template here on your browser, in your browser, not on the server. Does that make sense? Like, is it understandable? Like the difference between server-side and client-side rendering?
Yeah.
This is also the same on if you would use React. React uses also client-side rendering. So everything is rendered on the client, and the only thing that is transferred from the server to the application is just the data in order to re-render the page. Right?
Yeah.
I should give an example. So, for example, when I visit this page here and click Next, this data is just the comes from here. So this is what the server gives to the front end. So the server responds with a JSON of all the stations and the broadcasts, and the page here, the browser will render the HTML locally, not on the server. Okay. And therefore we have to find the template in the front end. And that's why I'm going to the GitHub page, click on front end and app, and there's another folder which is called templates. All right. So, and there's another folder which is visualize, which corresponds with this URL up here, right? So I'll click on visualize. And then there's index, which is the index page, like this page here. And there we must have this typo, right? But since this page is translated, all we see is demographic visualization, time demo here. All we see is this one. Okay. So in here, we will have the translated text. Are you still with me?
Could you make your text a little bigger?
Ah, yes, of course. And please, all the others, if you have improvements for my explanations, just tell me. I will be very grateful if you can tell me, please, could you add more detail here, or don't go into that much detail here, or like that.
You're perfect, Robert.
Okay.
You can do it all, Robert.
So this is the interesting part here. Line number 27. You will see those curly braces a lot. Those curly braces are equivalent. What do you use in website 1 as template language? Do you use
JavaScript?
Say it again?
I think it's similar to JavaScript, like when you do those brackets.
So you use JavaScript as a templating language?
Well, it's the same for like Rails, what you have, which is just embedded Ruby. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, that's what I was asking about. Do you use embedded Ruby, or do you use something like Haml?
No, we don't use Haml, no.
All right. So, but you know embedded Ruby? And it looks like this here. You have smaller than percentage, and then Ruby code, followed by percentage and greater than. And this will not go into the HTML, but this is, so it's kind of wrapping this piece of HTML. Right?
Yep.
And there's more than that. You can also have this equal sign here. And this equal sign will render whatever is in here, right? So the result of at name will go into the HTML. It will be rendered at this very place. And this is pretty much the same thing here. So whatever is within those curly braces will be rendered here. In this case, we have that part here. So that's obviously a string. And then there's T.
For translation?
Exactly. So this T is the shorthand for a translation function. So we use Amber Intel, which is Amber Internationalization. And Amber Intel will help you to write something like, is there a good example? No? Maybe this one? Okay, so we have translate photos banner and then just some random stuff, and it will try to find a file which is called en for English US.yaml and a photos key, and then below that the banner, and then the string which is added here. Do you know YAML files?
Yes, yes.
Right, so this is just a hierarchic structurization. And this is then you call it with the labels and dots. So the dot means banner is below photos. So it's like a directory structure, I would say. You have the same concept in directories, on file directories, right?
Yeah.
Or on URLs or whatever. So same thing here again. I will go line number 27. There's visualize, index, headers, demography. Let's see what we have here. We are in the translations folder. So there is a translations folder in the front end. And there's English, YAML. And we'll look for visualize index, that is demography. Visualize, there's index, there's headers, and there's demography. And there's our typo. Line number 391. What I'm going to suggest to you now, could you please, I'll put that link into the Hangouts. Could you click on edit this file?
Yeah.
Go on line number 300 and something. I supplied you the link, and just fix that typo here. Maybe you could share your screen now, Mariam, if that's possible.
Yeah.
Maybe this is also something for everybody, like how does translation actually work in Ember and Rails? This concept that's that comes from Ember Intel, this plugin that we use, is exactly the same as Rails internationalization. So I know Sven Fuchs, who actually developed the internationalization plugin, or GAM, for Rails. He's living here in Berlin. Nice guy, by the way. And he has this concept of storing the translations in separate files. And those files are in a hierarchical organization, like YAML files. You could also use JSON, whatever. And then you just have this label in the template.
Are you speaking about the I18N gem?
Yes. Exactly. I'm talking about that. There's more than that. You can, for example, also internationalize currencies, whether you use dollars or euros. You can internationalize the time. So English people have, I think if you write a date, they use slashes, and they put the month before the day, right? 9/11/2001. So 9 is September, 11 the day, and then the year. And in Germany, for example, we use dots, and we put the day before the month. So we would say 11th of the 9th November, and then the year. And you can do that with this internationalization too. So Mariam, you shared your screen. I'll click on the on your, I don't know what to call it, but this square. I hope that everyone can see Mariam's screen now.
I think I already did it before the session time.
Could you say it again?
I said I already did the pull request.
Nice.
I didn't know that you should show.
So let's see. I will quickly check GitHub. There should be another pull request.
Yeah.
And there it is, by Mariam21. Nice. So I'll quickly give it a check if everything is all right, and then say, awesome. Awesome, Profi. Yeah. And yeah, I'll comment. Can I also rebase and merge it? I think so. Confirm, rebase, and merge. There you go. It merged.
Yay!
Congratulations for your first contribution, Mariam.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You need to give her a very hard one now, like a Rails very hard issue.
Come on, it's I actually like to fix typos when I start to work on any open source project. So I think it's a very legitimate way of getting started with a project. And translations,
Yeah.
Nobody likes to do translations or likes to fix it. So every maintainer loves people who fix translations.
Yep, I agree.
Right? Yeah, if you want, I can also make you a contributor so you get write access to the repository. Do you want that, Mariam?
Yes.
All right. So let me share my screen again and probably click on my screen. We are here now. And I say settings. Oh, first of all, I want to check your GitHub name. It's Mariam21. I'll say settings, collaborators. I have to confirm my password. Yeah. We have a lot of contributors already. And there you are, at collaborator. Ta-dang.
Nice job. That's a good way to start, Robert.
Yeah, I think you have to, Mariam. I think you have to click on the invitation link. I don't know.
I just accepted.
Say it again. Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. I don't know why, but maybe some of you know. Like 2 years ago, the people didn't need to click on the invitation link. Does anybody know the reasoning behind this invitation link? Is it just spam?
I'm new to GitHub, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about it. I believe it's that's the reason to avoid that people can add collaborators to their projects without the other person to want it.
Mm.
But I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know either.
But it makes sense.
Yeah. Awesome. Now you're a contributor. So Mariam, since you have write access to the repository now, the master branch. So if we ever push to the master branch, your changes will automatically be deployed. So when the master branch changes, that will trigger our build server to run all the tests. Do you know test-driven development, Mariam? Have you done this website 1 before?
Yes, with RSpec and Cucumber.
Ah, nice. And do you use a build server like Travis CI?
Yes.
Do you use Travis CI?
Yes.
So Travis CI has a feature that will let you automatically deploy your application. Do you have something like that set up for website 1?
I think so.
So the deployment is done manually?
No, it's
Yes. No. It's
yeah.
automatic.
First we push to staging, then to master, and when it goes to master, it does deploy automatically.
So you have staging, and every push to master will trigger the deployment.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. So we don't have a staging branch. It's all just feature branches and the master branch, and the master branch is automatically deployed. Right? That means I would actually like if you could make a feature request. Sorry, a pull request before you push to master. All right. We still haven't protected the master branch because of reasons. Sometimes I force push to the master branch, for example, and I just find it's inconvenient to have it protected. I just trust everyone who's involved, right?
So you don't have it protected, Robert?
I don't have it protected. That's correct.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll just trust the collaborators.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it worked in the past so far. I just want to make you notice.
Yeah. Well, thanks for letting us know. Yeah.
Say it again, Federico.
Thanks for telling us.
Yeah. Now you're going to
no.
Destroy the master branch.
No. Well, maybe.
I see. All right. Is there anything else? And you said you know Cucumber, right?
Yes.
So regarding the test-driven development, we could go discuss now where you want to work on, because we have several people with all different specialities, and also those people would like to maybe switch the knowledge and exchange the knowledge. So I think Matt and Faith, you collaborated on the front end and know a lot about the front end. And Domenico, you're an expert in the back end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I know a lot about the front end, but
I would say. So depending on what you would like to learn, there are always two parts. If you want to develop a feature, most of the time, it's requiring a change in the front end and the back end. Sometimes it only requires a change in the front end. Sometimes it requires only a change in the back end. So what you did is a change in the front end only.
Yeah.
Like a translation fix.
Yeah.
Right? Like 99% of all the translations are in the front end. There's a tiny little bit which is in the back end.
Yeah.
So depending on what you would like to learn, you can pair with Domenico, for example, if you would like to pair on backend, or you can pair with Matt and Faith if you are interested into the front end. Matt and Faith, for example, are now working on a feature of this gender demography, which you just saw. I'll share my screen again. This one here. Is it true, Matt? I think we had two changes. We had this relationships between broadcasts, this button, which is already deployed, and I think that's not yet deployed, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I'm not exactly. The last thing we did was we were writing tests for edge cases. So I don't know if they want to. But the actual test page is I think has all the functionality that we talked about. It's just writing some tests for it, and I'm gonna have to actually leave, unfortunately, because I have a class. But thank you. And no, I'll be around tomorrow or Friday if anyone wants to pair.
Yeah, awesome. Don't worry at all. It's great because I just said in the beginning we want to keep those regular meetings short, and I think we almost got to a point where we can say, let's close the meeting. You can go, by the way, Matt. Don't worry about it. I don't want you to miss your class. And goodbye, Matt.
Okay, thank you. See you guys soon.
Bye.
Yeah. So, but Matt and Faith were working on this visualization, and they accurately picked something that is really massive. Like this feature was requiring a lot of changes in the front end and a lot of changes in the back end, and it's a so-called long-running pull request. I think it's here. Yes, that one here. So they were touching like 23 files already, which I think, well, if you want, you can try to work on something really big, but I would suggest something rather small. We have a list of issues here, and sometimes I go through them and try to estimate if they require a change only in the front end or only in the back end or both, like here, and whether or not it's a good first issue. All right?
Okay. Yeah.
So depending on what you like and what you want to learn, you can pick an issue that's touching the front end or the back end or both. And I would suggest if you want to try a good first issue, which most of the time means something small, you can also try to filter for those here.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? And by the way, I want to stress that if you don't understand something, like, so Domenico has submitted this feature here. If you don't understand something, please write a comment here and telling us, I don't understand anything. So that will give the submitter of this feature or this like issue, which is in this case Domenico, the possibility to fix the description and improve it. So if you write a comment, that's also a contribution. You did your first code contribution, but you can also contribute with issues or with comments. I also always give the example of open source guide. Source guides. I think there's an amazing visualization that explains what I mean. Hopefully, I find it soon. It's explaining the ratio between code contributions and versus like comments or opening issues, reporting bugs, and so on. Do you know what I mean, Federico, maybe, or Domenico?
No, I was on another page. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's definitely not what I mean. But okay, I cannot find it now. But it's like the bigger an application becomes, the more important is it to have a strong community, which is like reporting bugs and commenting on those and discussing new features. All right. So like everything is a contribution, not only code. That's all what I want to say.
Yeah.
And something that people don't normally realize is that it takes a lot of work to review pull requests. And so
Right.
if you can contribute to that, you know, it's very appreciated. And I did want to say also that if you're worried about your GitHub, you know how some people think your GitHub is their resume? An issue counts as, and what I mean by that is like over here, like this right here. If you submit an issue, it will count as a contribution right here.
Ah, yeah. How do you call it in English? In German, it's Stempelkarte or something. Like it's tracking your contribution over the time. And opening an issue would make your day green. It's a contribution.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean. What word are you trying to think of, Robert? Timeline? No.
I'm just looking at your screen right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know how GitHub calls it, like this visualization with your contributions.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, they call it, I don't know.
Contribution activity.
Contribution chart, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Graph, not sure.
So, Marianne, what is your favorite? What's interesting you? Like what's intriguing you? Have you questioned so far? Was it clear? Did I give a good or a bad introduction into this project?
Yes, everything was clear. Thanks.
Really? And is there something you would like to work on? Like any area? Like would you rather like to work in the front end or in the back end?
Well, for now, I will look through the project, and then after that, I will decide. After I try some like issues.
Yeah.
And then I will, because I can't tell now. Yeah.
No problem at all.
Yeah.
I asked in the beginning, and I think Matt and you, Dominique, you weren't there, if all the others have any questions so far. Is there any questions from your side?
Yeah. I want to know if you think there is something, or suggest something to work on. I was looking at the problem with the icons, but I didn't find the problem of the fact that the icons aren't rendered. I think it's a problem with the fonts, but
yeah. So you, Dominique, you're referring to the fact that at some point we lost those icons here.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you know when we lost them?
No, I don't, because the icons are not tested with our integration server, and I didn't look on it, and I just missed it, and I have no idea when this happened. We could go through the Git log if we wanted to, but I'm actually I have an assumption, and I'll show you which one. So we are using a plugin. We are using Semantic UI as a CSS framework, by the way. Do you know what a CSS framework is, Mariam? You've heard about Bootstrap.
Yes.
Have you heard it?
Yes.
Heard about it?
Yes.
Do you use it?
I use it sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes. So Bootstrap is one CSS framework. Semantic UI is another one. Oh. This one here. And it helps you to design beautiful websites quickly. And the whole idea of Semantic UI is that if you use CSS classes, but those CSS classes have a meaning or a semantic if you put them all together. So you have UI, you have 3, and you have buttons. And if you put them all together, you mean that you have like a div with 3 buttons. And then you have an active button. So this button is becoming a little bit darker here, right? So this HTML code will render this this layout here, all right? And those 3 go together, and one of them is active, for example. So I think I have the assumption that the fonts are also coming from the plugin that pulls in Semantic UI into Amber, and this is called Semantic UI Amber, and I will provide the link. And this plugin has an issue, and there is an issue about brand and outline fonts not being imported into dist. So when you compile and when you build the JavaScript files and the front-end application, also the fonts are apparently, I don't know exactly, actually, I think they are also bundled into the assets. I have no idea, to be honest. And there's an issue that some of the brand fonts and outline fonts are not being imported. And that could be the reason for not having the icons here. Right? And there's, fortunately, already a pull request, which is just not merged. So a friend called Tsukima had this pull request where he doesn't do a lot of things. He's just adding 2 lines with, I think, folders of brand and outline icons, which would make sense if this plugin is using a newer version of Semantic UI, which has those new folders, but doesn't bundle them, right? That would make sense. So this is my assumption. What's the reason for this error?
So it is using the new names, but it hasn't the files.
I guess it. Yeah, exactly. So that's my assumption. I don't know yet. I haven't tested it so far. So what I would do now is go to this fork of this fellow here, and I think he has. He must have a fork of Ember Semantic UI. Semantic, yeah, there you go. And he wants to merge Boo, import missing icons. And there is a branch called Boo, import missing icons. So I would probably yarn install from git branch. How to install packages from GitHub repo. Maybe actually it's what I'm using or what I'm looking for is package.json. Git branch as a dependency in package.json. So I'm suggesting that we are using another dependent, like we temporarily change the our dependency of Ember Semantic UI, which you can find in the front end in package.json and in the development dependencies. So we have Ember Semantic UI Ember version 3.3. So I would replace line 74 with the branch of this pull request, which wasn't yet merged, in order to test this assumption. If my assumption is correct, then the fonts should be fixed. If I'm not correct, then nothing will change. And you have to find out how to install the dependencies, the dependencies from a GitHub repository. I know it's very easy.
Yeah, I will find it.
Git URLs as dependencies. There you go. So you say git plus, I think, HTTPS, then the repository, and I think you can have hashtag, then a branch name. Is it a branch? So it's specified that master is used. So master is the default branch, unless you have hashtag and then a branch name. So I think all you have to do is to have this branch, this one here, this one, and add it. So the repository plus the branch, install the dependencies, and then try to if the fonts are now fixed. Have you used dependency or package managers before, Mariam?
Yes, I use package.json.
Right. So in the front end, we use Yarn as the package manager of choice. And you can install everything with Yarn install. And you can also use, as you have just seen, use remote repository for the dependency.
Yeah.
Okay. You could, for example, work with Federico on that one. Actually, I think it's easy enough. Maybe Federico, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean,
no, Domenico. I'm sorry. I was
on what?
So you wanted to fix the fonts, right?
Yeah.
So how about if you would pair with Mariam on that one?
Yeah, you can do that.
Do you think it's a good idea, Mariam?
Yeah, but I will need some time to know to understand the issue.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I just said that I will need some time to understand the issue.
Ah, okay, yes.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
If for example, the installation is too much trouble for now, you can pair with Domenico, and Domenico becomes the driver. So he's sharing the screen, and then you can see what he's doing in order to fix the bug, maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's 10 o'clock in Germany. We were talking for about an hour. Is it a good time to say let's start the regular meeting?
Yeah.
Any questions until now?
No.
Faith, Federico, questions? No. All right, then I will say this was the regular meeting for today, and I will stop the broadcast, which means that will also stop the recording. All right?
Yep.